Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Kat. We are on day 5 of an entire week of Oden'S Eye. We've almost made it, my goodness. Since I don't know how to do math, I completely miscounted the number of Oden'S Eye palettes that I have, and I actually have 8 instead of 7. So we're going to be doubling up for today, and we are going to be looking at the Alva 2 Mini Forest palette and the Alva 2 Mini Ocean palette. Let's first take a look at the Forest palette. There you go. It's like all of the earthy tones. And then for the Ocean palette, it's lots of pretty blues and then some really nice neutral tones. And so what I am thinking that we will do is 2 different eyes. We'll do one that is more bluish, and then we'll do one that is neutral with like probably that pop of green that is in here in the middle. Yeah. So I think that's the plan. So it's gonna be fun. One colorful, one neutral eye. So I'm looking forward to that. And then the matching highlighter that we're gonna do is the Spring of Life highlighter. And that is the pretty blue marbled one. And so it's gonna be interesting to see if this one is a similar consistency to the other 2 that we used earlier this week, where it's more of that cream kind of satiny finish to it rather than a powder. And so I'm gonna probably just immediately go in with my finger rather than even attempting to use a brush, because that worked horribly the first 2 times that I tried it. So we're just gonna rub right into this thing. It is more of that satiny kind of feel, although a bit thicker than the other 2. We're gonna lightly dab this guy on. Yeah, it is a bit more chunky from what I'm noticing. You can definitely tell way more pigmented than the other 2 were, that were more of those gold and pink shades. So this is a blue. So subtlety is not your guy. If you are getting the Spring of Life highlighter, you're gonna shine some blue shine all the way to space. Which really, some of us like that sometimes, you know? It is almost like a similar consistency to some of the foiled shades that are that kind of flaky. And so it's definitely more of a chunky, thicker consistency than any of the others. But I mean, it is bold. See if I can buff it out just a tiny bit. I cannot. All right, so this is definitely one of those ones where once you have put it on, it is on wherever it is. I think you can lighten it up a little bit, but as far as like spreading it around to blend it out, that's not gonna happen. So just a thing to keep in mind as you are applying these. But let's go ahead and swatch the 2 mini palettes. I'm gonna roll my sleeves up because caught yet again in long sleeves when I have to swatch. I totally think things through. Do you ever have it where you're wearing those like tighter shirts and you're just like, great, I'm gonna lose all circulation to my lower arm portion because it's so tight. Okay, so let's go ahead and swatch the Mini Forest palette first. So the first shade is a matte shade, and that is Mint, which is just a nice kind of, I would lean more towards the bluish side of turquoise, but there is like a smidge of greenish in that. And then we have Spirit Forest, which is a pretty gold metallic, has some lighter whitish pink speckles on top of it. Then the first half of that split shade is going to be Greenery, which is this guy. Ooh, that is actually more opaque than I was expecting. Has a bit of a yellowish undertone to it. And then the other half is the shade Breeze, which is a very pretty, just kind of beigey metallic. None of them are giving me a feeling like the palette that we used yesterday, that it's more of that flaky kind of metallic. These are all feeling and performing like a typical nice smooth metallic. So that is of note. Then the last 2 shades that we have, first one is a matte shade. This is Little Deer. Goes very nicely with that other metallic shade. And then we have the shade Shine, which is a beautiful metallic blue. And interestingly enough, this guy is actually somewhat more sheer than the other 3, but still very, very pretty. And I would imagine you could build this guy up pretty nicely. but it is a bit more bespeckly sparkly than the others. So let me come in close. So there you go. That is the whole palette for the Forest palette, and you can see how this guy is a bit more sheer than these other three are. And then we're gonna go ahead and jump into the Ocean palette, and the first shade is a matte shade Aqua, which is just a nice light blue, and when I hold it up against the other one, you can see that this one ever so slightly has a bit more green than this guy, but they are very similar in tone as I am looking at them. This guy almost has just a bit more of a grayish undertone to it. Then the next shade is Under the Sea, which is a very pretty deeper blue metallic. Although I would say that even though it looks like it's supposed to be a metallic, it's very similar to that deeper brown shade from yesterday, that it really just comes across like a heavy matte shade. There's not a ton of reflect on there at all, so really just deeper navy sort of matte shade is what I'm getting. All right, then the next one is the first half of the split shade in this palette, and that is Blue Star. And this guy is definitely more of a topper. That is a very light blue, very sheer, shimmery shade. And then the other half is the shade Jellyfish, which is also very, very sheer, but a bit more of a light pinkish silver undertone to it. And then the last two, we have Starfish, which definitely has more of an orangey copper kind of undertone to it, and is one of those matte shades that has like the gold speckles in it. So not really a metallic at all, not really a satin either, it's just a matte shade with some gold speckle. And then the last shade is going to be Gold Sand, which is the darker brown. And this guy performs more like a normal metallic brown would. So here's that whole palette. So you can definitely see that these guys are more sheer, not a flaky consistency though. I don't think that that's how they're gonna be. It's just gonna be a fairly sheer metallic, good topper shades. You can see that this guy does have that nice metallic sheen to it. But this guy really looks more like a matte to me. It doesn't really perform like a true metallic would. So this is both of the palettes. So we're going to combine all of the bluish shades together, and then we'll do one that is more of a neutral one on the other eye. All right, so I think we'll start as we normally do with my right eye. And so we'll go ahead and do the blue eye first, and then we'll do the neutral eye. And for the blue eye, I'm going to start off with the shade Aqua, which is this guy right here, and then this guy will be on the under eye instead of like combining the two. And then we'll go into all of the different metallic shades for deepening up and adding some sparkle. And then I think that we'll go with this guy, that really light sheer shade, for the inner corner and see how that goes. I think that's a good coating, and then we'll go ahead and do the under eye. All right, there's that, and you can ever so slightly see the difference in tone on the two of them, that this guy has a little bit more of a greenish undertone and the top is more of a bluish gray undertone. Okay, so I think that the first metallic that I'm going to get into is going to be Shine. So that's this guy right here, and that'll go on the inner half, and then the outer half we will smoke out with Under the Sea. That's the deeper shade. And as is normal with these, the matte shades didn't have really any fallout, but the glitters, they do. All right, we're gonna go ahead and go into Under the Sea next. And then for the inner corner, we're gonna use that lighter blue topper shade. That really just kind of blended right into into the other shade Shine, I think I'm gonna grab a little bit of Jellyfish, which is the more silverish tone, just to lighten that up a bit more, see if that makes a difference. 'Cause I don't want it to literally just look like I added more of the same shade that's on my lid. Adds just a bit more of a silvery nature to it, which is great. All right, I am going to align my under eye and throw on some mascara, and then we will get into the neutral eye, which I am actually kind of excited about because I think that, like, especially these three shades right here, the yellow, the green, and the kind of beigey tone, I think are gonna actually make this look really pretty, so I'm a little excited. You ever just have a day where your eyelashes don't wanna work? But here is the completed look for this eye. I think it's very pretty. I do like that I added a bit of the silver on top, just so that it doesn't quite blend in with the other shade, because then at that point it would have just been too monochromatic for me. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the neutral eye. I think that we'll go ahead and start off with the Little Deer shade, which is the lighter matte brown. And we'll go with Starfish on the under eye. We'll deepen it out with this guy. And then on the lid, I think we'll go ahead and do a blend of this guy, the lighter brown, and then the green shade, and then the yellow will be a pop of color on the inner eye. Create like this whole thing. That is a very good transition shade. That is, it's not too dark, not too light. So now for the under eye, we're gonna do Starfish. Yep, and again, you can see just these slight tonal differences where Starfish has a bit more of an orange reddish undertone, and then the Little Deer shade is more of your true brown. So I think we'll go ahead and this time around actually do the darker brown shade first before we go into the metallics. I'm gonna grab Golden Sand, which is this guy, and we are going to smoke out the outer corner. And I don't want to take it too much onto the lid. I'm really just wanting to deepen up the corner a bit, because then the green and the light brown are going to cover the majority of the lid. So we're gonna blend it into that. Let's go ahead and go into Breeze first. But it is fairly sheer, which just adds like a nice little sparkle. So now we're gonna go into that green shade. All right, and then the last shade is going to be the yellow Spirit Forest. That's going to go as the pop in the inner corner. I am not sure how I feel about this yet, but we're going to go ahead and tightline and add mascara, and then we will see what we think. I might deepen up this outer corner a little bit. I think that's the only thing I'm really a little bit unsure on. All right, let me come in close so you guys can take a look at the final thing. I think it is pretty. I think that I don't know if that pop of green, if I might do that differently next time around and maybe have that closer to the yellow shade and then the lighter brown mixing in with the darker brown. Not sure, but either way I think it's pretty. But let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video, if you like the looks. Let me know which one you preferred. I kind of think they're both a little bit cool. I do love my blues, but I do think that this is a prettier neutral eye. So let me know what you guys thought down below. And we have just 2 days left until not only are we at the end of the Oden'S Eye week, but we also find out who the giveaway winner is. So make sure if you guys have not yet entered that you go ahead and do that. You have a chance to win either a colorful giveaway or a neutral giveaway. So hopefully you guys are as equally excited about that as I am. And other than that, if you made it to the end of the video and you have not yet subscribed, I think you should come into the fold. Come join us as we look at more and more makeup. But other than that, this was day 5, and you guys just go have a good one.